1995, this year, what had happened in the state of Rajasthan, there was a woman. She actually, so we have heard that, child marriages hote hain. Rajasthan mein bahut child marriages humne suna hua hai. So there was a woman who was actively trying to stop a child marriage that from happening. Okay. The protesters, she came back home, everything happened. The people who were trying to get the children married and the protesters, they did not like the fact that a certain woman is standing up and she's stopping a child to be married. They gang raped her. And from that followed the incident of Vishakha. In the year 1995, the Vishakha case happened. It was basically a gang rape that took place in the state of Rajasthan, which led the Supreme Court of India to frame certain guidelines. Supreme Court ने बोला कि हम एक recommendation देते हैं कि एक बिल प्रपोज होना चाहिए, ठीक है, और हम अभी certain guidelines देंगे कि employers को क्या करना चाहिए, work places पे क्या atmosphere होना चाहिए, generally for protection of women, what should happen and what are the duties and obligations that an employer should take. Okay, so Vishakha guidelines came into picture in the year 1997. Okay, this is almost 25 years back that this happened. This guidelines of the Supreme Court did not see any motion. What usually happens is that whenever the apex court, Supreme Court को apex court भी बोला जाता है, ठीक है, because it's the highest court of law in India. So whenever certain guidelines are being framed by the highest court in India, which is the Supreme Court, they are considered to be mandatorily followed. Okay, but what happened is that these were guidelines. Guidelines का मतलब ये होता है कि ये recommended in nature है, ठीक है. Compulsorily कब होगा? When a government is taking a step, when the central government is proposing a bill that is passed into an act, so it will have a nature of a law, ठीक है. So this entire guidelines did not see any motion. The Supreme Court had recommended, okay, that these are the 10 things that you need to do, but did not happen. Then in the year 2012, directly, this is after 15 years, the law did not see any motion and it was on a standstill. In the year 2012, the Nirbhaya incident happened. I'm sure everyone has heard about the Nirbhaya incident. Along with that, what had happened was a public interest litigation. Okay, so this is a kind of a case which a person or a body files before any court of law, the High Court or the Supreme Court, to create a law or to agitate a grievance which is in the interest of public at large. So Medha Kotwal नाम की एक female थी. She filed a PIL. The short form of a public interest litigation is PIL. ठीक है? So she filed a PIL before the Supreme Court. She said that it has been 15 years now. Guidelines are framed by the Supreme Court, but the implementation is not there. This was the first legally stand that happened to incorporate and implement the POSH Act. This was when the Supreme Court had taken cognizance, and later the government also took cognizance because there was a lot of outburst in the public at large after the Nirbhaya incident. Everyone was coming out on the roads, there were protests, and the Medha Kotwal case also happened. So combining these two, the government finally, so यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हैं 97 में सबसे पहले गाइडलाइंस दी थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, एंड डायरेक्टली 2013 में जाके फिर फाइनली सेक्सुअल हैरासमेंट ऑफ वुमेन एट वर्कप्लेस, प्रिवेंशन, प्रोहिबिशन एंड रिड्रेसल, इसका नाम ये है, ये एक्ट पास हुआ है. And this was a very long journey to bring this act into force, okay? And 2013 में जाके ये एक्ट बना है. And now we are in 2022. So almost 10 years हो जाएंगे act को. This is not even completed a decade. It's a very new act, and a lot of things are still being clarified about the act because the act is very brief in nature. If you read the act, it does not have a lot of sections, but every section has some detail जिसको compliance में convert करके follow करना पड़ता है. तो act भले ही छोटी है, but अभी भी it's growing. The tree is not set yet, it's plant stage पे, तो बन रही है, अभी एक decade भी नहीं हुआ है, and we are here in the year 2022. This was how the act came into picture. ठीक है?